Welcome to another episode of RVCast. I am so excited to bring to you the Hidden Springs RV Resort and introduce to you my good friends, John and Nicole Graff, who are the owners and operators of Hidden Springs here.
Hi,
so
Dave.
Welcome, guys.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for having us.
Oh, you bet. This is so fantastic. A little disclaimer up front. We've known John and Nicole for 30 plus years. They were part of such a good, close-knit friendship that we established when we first moved to southwestern Utah, and have been fantastic friends. And I was so thrilled when they opened up an RV resort, and we're going to find out all about it. So first of all, tell us a little bit about the resort. We're in the clubhouse right now.
We are. So we're located on 22 and a half acres, and we're right at the base of the Big Red Mountain, as they call it, in Ivins, Utah, which is southwestern Utah. The area that we live in has so much to offer, but our amenities on this actual piece of property, we have a swimming pool that's very large, designed by Nicole. And as you see it, you'll see that it is round on every edge, which I fought tooth and nail because I'm like, a square pool would be much easier. She said, no, it needs to be round.
Sorry.
And our hot tub seats 16 people, so it's a large hot tub. We have a natural spring that comes out of the ground here on the property, which is actually really amazing because we're in the desert, the high desert. You don't see a lot of water flowing like you do back east. And so for us to have water that just comes out of the hill and into a pond is kind of an anomaly here. We really are excited about it.
We have our big clubhouse, which is a great place for families to gather. And we have a kitchen, a big gathering room on the main floor, and then we have a cute little mercantile that is super fun. We've got a lot of local artisans that put their goods in our store, and then we've just got a lot of treats and just kind of fun little stuff for people, for our guests, drinks, ice, all the things that you need when you're camping. So that's one of the nice things about where we're at is in the clubhouse it's so convenient.
Yeah.
And also in the clubhouse we have 3 suites that are really fun. So if you don't have an RV or you're not a camper, it's okay. Like, we can accommodate you. So we have a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath suite that sleeps 10 people. It's really nice, and it's
be pampered.
luxury. Yeah, you'll be pampered up there. And then we have 2 1-bedroom suites that will accommodate 4 people in each one. So it's been really fun so far. Like, we've only been open 10 weeks, and we've already had people book those for family reunions, and they just love it. When they come and stay in those, it's the best.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I can attest to that because we stayed here last week, and of course we're in our RV, but we wanted to bring all of the kids together. And how do we do that? And I tell you what, your suite was so sweet.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, it was fantastic because not only is it 3 bedrooms, and so every child that we have could have their own bedroom with their kids. Not only that, but the open space, the kitchen and family room and dining room was just amazing. And oh my gosh, that table.
Everybody talks about that table. It's like it's got its own spirit when you walk in.
It's its own life. Yeah,
right.
It's its own vibe. Like,
so where did that come from?
So I was scrolling through Facebook, as I like to do, on the marketplace, and there was a guy in Southern Oregon that said, I'm coming through to California and I have some big slabs of live edge wood that I would like to sell. If anybody on this route would like one, let me know. I said yes. He got back with me. I didn't think it was going to happen because a month went by, nothing.
I kept going, John, we need a table. Like, it's coming.
She kept saying, the whole unit is finished, but we don't have a table. I'm just going to go buy something. I'm like, no, just be patient. It will come. I know it will. So he calls me up and he says, I'm in Salt Lake City. I'm on my way. I'll be there tomorrow. And the next day in the afternoon, he showed up with this big trailer and huge stacks of like this thick of slabs of wood with the live edge, all one piece, beautiful. This piece we got 12.5 feet long, goes from 4 feet down to 3 feet because it was a tree, a slice of a tree. And we forklifted that off and brought it out to the back porch right here on the resort. And we started sanding. We built legs out of some big timbers, kind of made some X legs for it. And then we had another slab that we cut up into 4 pieces, which actually kind of broke my heart to cut up a big, beautiful slab. But we have 4 beautiful benches that match the top, and it is just gorgeous.
And you can easily see 12 people, 14 people at that table. So it's just the perfect like family gathering table. We love it.
Well, and the space up there it's not just, here is the place where you can eat, and then everything is so crammed in that you eat there, you know. If you needed to set up card tables or ancillary tables to fit more people, there's ample room up there. I was astounded at how big that place was and so fantastic. So let's get back to, first of all, where are we located geographically? We're in southwestern Utah. Give us a couple of perspectives from Salt Lake, from Las Vegas, all of that.
So we're about 2 hours north of Las Vegas, about 4.5 to 5 hours south of Salt Lake. We're in the southwest corner of the state. If you go about 3 to 4 miles south of St. George, Utah, which is where we're next to, you'll be in Arizona and Nevada. You're heading out of the state.
So we're right in the corner of Arizona and Nevada, you know, the very far corner of Utah.
Right.
So it's a great location. We're really close to Zion National Park. We're very close to the Grand Canyon. Those are kind of our closest national parks. And so, but we also have the other 5 that aren't too far from us. You know, you can get to Bryce Canyon and some of those other
Capitol Reef,
really cool national parks.
Oh, perfect. Well, I'm rather than just talk about it, let's go take a look, huh?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see the pool. So tell me a little bit of the history. Why did you want to go with Rounded, Nicole?
So the history around the pool is that I wanted to bring nature into everything that we did here. I didn't want to do just rectangle and square, and I wanted it to feel very organic for our guests, so that it felt like they were coming back to nature. Even though we're close to town, you can still get back to nature. But the inspiration behind the pool is I wanted it to be the shape of a sago lily, which is the state flower of Utah. And so that's where we came up with the pool. It's 3 circles, and it looks like the shape of a sago lily from the top. So that's where the inspiration came from. Yeah. And I mean, if you want, there's like a little bit of history behind the pool and the story of the sago lily, in that one of John's ancestors that came and settled this area, his wife was like, I do not want to have, I can't live here. It's too hot. We're in a very hot, arid area in the summers, and it's almost miserable, you know, like in June, July, August. But, you know, I wanted that pool. But the story is that she's like, if you can find one beautiful thing in this desert, I will stay. You know, because she wanted to move back to Salt Lake. And so he had gone out looking for something, and he found a sago lily, brought it back to her, and she was like, okay, I'll stay. So that's one of the stories from our family. And that's why we ended up with a 3-circle pool.
Very cool. And I got to tell you, the pool works because it's like one big pool, but 3 separate segments where, you know, adults can enjoy a deeper end. The kids can enjoy a shallow end, and then you have actually a beach. Yeah,
we did a little beach entrance over on the side there, so that people, you know, we're always worried about little kids stepping off and falling in, but a small child that's learning to walk can kind of go in and out and test the water a little bit without actually falling. So that's why we chose
we're family oriented. We have 6 children of our own, 14 grandchildren. And so I designed the pool really for myself, so I could be here with my kids and my grandkids. And I hope everyone else will come and enjoy it too.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. An immediate things that I noticed when we walked in is the theme and the decor that you guys have established. It is such a funky feel. So cool, because it just feels like showing up at your grandma's house, right? So I was talking to my son about it, and one of the things that he mentioned, I'm trying to put my finger on it. It's like going to grandma's house, but not tacky. Because you've got some real cool retro furniture, retro colors, and in fact, your whole motif of the website and everything is that retro color scheme that just makes it feel like, hey, this is a unique place.
Yeah, and I think that the fun part about it, like the inspiration obviously was we want to take people back to our grandma's house, you know, because this was in John's family, this property. And so, you know, he grew up in the 70s, I grew up in the 70s, and, you know, we just kind of have that weird vibe of like, you know, growing up in the 70s, and that's what we went home to our grandma's houses.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we wanted to bring a little bit of that nostalgia back, but just kind of elevate it a little bit.
And not be tacky.
Yeah, and not be tacky. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how we came up with the theme. I just kind of told my daughter, who helped us with our branding and did the website and everything, the colors and all of that. And I just said, I want it to feel like classy grandma. So this is where we're at. And, you know, I think that everybody feels the vibe when they come.
I don't know if I should be a little offended, like showing up at a restaurant and saying, hey, should I give you the senior discount? But you're talking about antiques in the era that I grew up. Yeah. And I'm like, come on, Nicole.
Us too.
No, but it's so fun. And that was such a funky, cool part of exploring and getting out of the traditional Victorian thing. And so it's just fun to see. Yeah. And each part of the resort is a little bit different in that the suites have their own vibe, and then the bathrooms, the tile and everything that you've picked out is definitely, but it all comes together.
Yeah, which is really interesting because, you know, this was a farm before, and so we wanted to nod back to a farm. Then we're trying to pull in the 70s, and then we're trying to think grandmas, you know. And so it was hard to marry all of those like ideas and put them into one place, but it feels so comfortable. Yeah. And I think that that's the main thing, is that when people come here, they're going to be comfortable, but they're going to feel special at the same time. So.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, this property has been in our family. My grandkids are the 7th generation. So, wow. I always get emotional about this, but with the family talking about selling the land, which it was their right, my aunts and uncles, they needed to get their inheritance. We were trying to figure out how to somehow grasp onto it, because we had spent our time here, our kids had spent time here, and then when it went up, it was going to go up for sale, we were panicked. So we came up with this idea, and we got my parents and my aunt to come on as partners, and we found another friend to come on and buy my uncle out, and it just, you know, there were so many little miracles along the way. But I'll tell you, to be able to see this now and to think it could have been gone is just, we're so grateful.
Yeah, that's so cool. So we're at a spot where you can accommodate the dog lovers. Tell us a little bit about what we have here.
So this is our critter corner, and we designed this part of the park because, you know, our kids have dogs, we love animals, and we wanted to have a place where people could bring their animals, bring their pups, and have a good time. And, you know, our policies, I guess, are that, you know, we have dogs on leashes so everyone feels, again, safe and comfortable. But you can bring your dog here and you can let them run wild. We've got a bench that you can swing on, and so, you know, it's just one of the nice amenities that we offer for our guests.
Oh, that's fantastic. And then how many spaces do you have in the RV resort here?
So there's 150 spaces total. 138 of them are for RVs and 12 are for tents. So you can just come in with your little car and pull out your tent. We've even had people just park at the tent sites and sleep in their car. But cool. They have a picnic table, there's power at the tent sites, but all of the RV sites have a 20 amp, 30 amp, and 50 amp, and water and sewer. So no matter where you park in here, you have a place to completely hook up.
Very nice, very nice. And one of the iconic things about Ivan's is the Red Mountain.
Yes, look
right
at that.
behind us, right?
It's
And you guys did a fantastic job by creating the space that will have that iconic red mountain in the back. So
Yeah, for sure. If you're anywhere up on top, you get the beautiful views of the Red Mountain and the Pine Valley Mountain, which is part of, you know, our gorgeous views.
yeah,
So for sure, the views can't be beat, if you ask me. Like, it just has such a cool vibe and a cool energy here at Hidden
Absolutely.
Springs because of the views.
360 degrees. No matter which way you look, you've got views.
Right.
Whether it's the green deserty hills with the sagebrush or that red mountain. I mean, it's just, even off to the east, you can see Zion National Park, just the, you know, the high peaks of Zion National Park.
right. Tell us about the pond that you've got. Was that always a pond?
So it's always been swampy down there. And
Right.
about 20 years ago, I just took my little farm tractor and pushed a little dam across there. And within 30 days, the whole thing was full of water. And we knew that it was a spring, and we knew that we had water flow, but we didn't know we had that much. And I
Right.
mean, it's all relative, but for us, that's a lot.
Right.
And so we took that and just capitalized on it. We kept building the dam a little more and made it a little deeper and deeper. You know, as we started developing it more, we, you know, got it a lot cleaner looking. We've got a beautiful little island with a bridge going out
Yeah.
to it. We've got grass on the island that the ducks love.
Yeah.
They're fertilizing it like crazy. But
And we have a dock, so you can like pull up the boat.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a couple of little canoes down there
Yeah.
for now, and it's a
so
lot
the
of fun.
pond, it fills up all the time. It flows out and it runs down they call it the graveyard wash because the Santa Clara graveyard's just down
Right.
there. And then it flows into the Santa Clara River. So we are actually the headwaters of the Santa Clara River. Our water comes from us into the Santa Clara, which goes into the Virgin River, which goes into the Colorado River. Well, not the Colorado, into Lake Mead, which then flows into the Colorado River and goes on down.
Yeah.
Very
So
cool.
we are headwaters of something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how we ended up with the name of Hidden Springs.
Ah.
It's because we have hidden springs that come out of the hill,
Yeah.
and we've just kind of diverted those. You know, we've captured them the best we can, and we send them into our pond, and
That's
it's
great.
awesome.
So one of the wonderful things that we like to do with our podcast is it's all about connecting. And we noticed the marquee that you've got on the wall as you come in, establishing core memories, right?
Yeah.
Did I get that saying right? What's the
Yeah.
what's
Where
the saying?
Where core memories are made.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's really what getting out and RVing or camping or whatever is all about, is those core memories. I was talking with my grandson that stayed with us here last week when we were here. And we're like, what was the greatest thing? And he's like, oh, when I was able to get down into that rowboat and go across the pond. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and all of 6-7 years old, right? And so, but that's probably going to be one of those core memories that he takes into adulthood, right?
Absolutely.
And that's just an example of one of the things that you can do right here on the property. And then let's just expand out a little bit about what are some of the other things, because I was telling Tracy on the way over here, you know, we can go to the national parks, which are fantastic and beautiful, and those have been designated and set aside. But there's little gems that are outside of those parks
Yeah, for sure.
that are not crowded and that are a little bit more secluded and peaceful.
You know,
what are some of those things around here?
Every time I go somewhere, I always try and find a local to tell me where the locals
Yes.
go, not where all the tourists go. And we found some wonderful places by doing that.
Right.
So what we have around here, we're west of St. George, about 5 miles. And we're right on the outskirts, but we're still in the city limits. So we're not too far from a grocery store or restaurants. And yet you feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Just north of us, at the base of this red mountain, that's Snow Canyon State Park. It is something.
Such a gem.
It is a
It's
gem.
so
Like people don't
beautiful.
really know
Yeah.
about it, and you go up in there and it's breathtaking.
Yeah.
The sandstone goes from red to white, and it's all white at the top of Snow Canyon, and it's all red at bottom, and there's swirled areas in the middle as you're going up through.
I've heard people call it the Little Zion.
Yeah.
Because it has a similar feel to Zion. There's sand dunes there that the kids can play on. Like, it's just a beautiful little park. And so, yeah, that's one of the main gems I would say that we have. But just at the bottom of Snow Canyon, we have Tuacahn Amphitheater, which is world-class Broadway shows that are here in the desert, and they do them all summer long, you know, basically from like May until the end of September or into October. They do outdoor shows that are Broadway quality.
Nice.
And it's an absolute amazing, you know, experience
I think
when you go there.
I think that it seats 2,400 people,
Wow.
and they seem to always shoot fireworks off at the end of every show.
Like, it's just,
And-
it's so fun.
And we're not talking little sparklers, we're talking big blasts.
Yeah.
And when they, at the end, when they turn, it's right at the base of the Red Mountain. And when they turn on the lights at the end of the night, and that whole, because when you're
light
watching the
that up.
shows, it's all black. And you just see the theater stage. When they turn on the lights at the end and it lights up that whole hillside, it's so beaubeautiful.
It's breathtaking, yeah.
Well,
So
they
we
also do concerts.
Yeah,
there
they do.
In the off season because
They do a
they've got
nativity during Christmas time. Like, they do a lot of things. They keep it going, and they have a smaller indoor theater.
Oh,
so when the
okay.
weather's inclement, then you can go in there and do that. You know,
Very cool.
So it's great.
Just up the road here, about 3 miles, we have a little thing called Firehouse Lake, and it's a lake big enough that you can go on little kayaks and canoes. There's also a swimming beach that they've created, and in bathrooms. It's
Do
really
paddle
nice.
boards, things like that.
Right out our back gate, we have some amazing mountain biking trails.
Yeah.
You can go all the way across on some trails that run right along a cliff edge looking down on the Santa Clara River, and that's
Very
a fun
cool.
one.
Yeah. So, the southern Utah area, we are known for a lot of mountain biking or just biking in general. There's trails that connect almost every town in this area where you could
Right.
probably do a 50-mile loop and come back.
And not
just
be on
the
roads.
trails.
Right.
You're just
So-
on the trail system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so neat here.
Yeah, and just for some perspective, even Red Bull has caught on to this area, right? They do the
yeah.
Red Bull Rampage,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
not too far from here.
Yeah, it's about 35, 40 minutes away.
Have you ever ridden it?
I've
No.
never ridden it. I have been
Nicole?
over. I've been over to.
Absolutely
I've been over to see where it's at, but you will not catch me going off those things. They're straight off.
Right.
And the flips and no.
Yeah. I could see Nicole taking one of those
Maybe 40 years ago.
major air. But let's expand out a little bit. So beyond, the local, we've established some good, every amenity that you would need from a big city, right?
Yes.
You got Costco, Walmart, grocery stores, all of that jazz within minutes.
Yeah.
And then Snow Canyon. What's a little bit further out?
Before we go a little further
Yeah.
out, let me just tell you, the old Highway 91 is this road right here.
Uh-huh.
So before they built the interstate tying through to Las Vegas from Salt Lake, this was the main route, and it's still a main route. It's just not the freeway anymore.
Right.
So if people want to come up from Vegas and not drive up through the windy gorge with their trailer, they can exit off and come right up over and drop right into our place. So we're on a major road, and yet not a busy road.
Right.
The other thing is just up the road here, about 1.5 miles, there's some Indian petroglyphs, and I'm not talking one or two, I'm talking hundreds all over the rocks.
Yeah.
And they are absolutely amazing. I mean, there's some that are this big. There's
it's
sheep
really
and
cool.
spirals and
Right.
sundials and those all came from the Native Americans that lived in this area, and some still do live in this area, just in a different setting than they did back then.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful. Like
Yeah.
we took our grandkids up there, and they're jumping around, and it was so fun.
Right. I'll pitch in here because one of our favorite hikes that we take the little ones on is the Temple Quarry Trail. That's
Yes.
just up against the Black Hill, where they took big slabs of rock, moved it around the hill, down the hill, and used that as the foundation.
With a team of horses and a wagon.
Right.
Hard to imagine.
Right. And I'll throw in a little personal history there. The St. George Temple, it's a temple for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is central to St. George and central to the settlement, was built on a marsh, a swampland. And so to establish the foundation, they would take those big slabs of rock that they pulled off of the Black Hill and pile drive them down with a cannon. And so they'd hoist up the cannon, put the rock in place, and let that cannon drop. Yeah. And the engineering of it was very sophisticated. It came down to, if that cannon bounced twice, then that slab hit bedrock. But if it didn't, if it didn't bounce, then it was still on marshy land. Yeah. Because it would pile it down or it would bounce. Yep. And that cannon was actually my great-great-great-grandfather's.
Really?
Wow,
yeah.
That's amazing.
And they still have them. I think they still have it over there in the visitor center.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, that's amazing. And like John's family has so much deep history here in St. George as well. You know, this property actually has been in our family for over 100 years. And so, you know, it's pretty amazing that we can still enjoy this piece of property.
And you know, it's a dark sky city, which means that they don't allow a lot of up lighting. And so when you're here at night, no matter where you're at in the city, you can look up if it's a clear night and you can see all of the stars.
Yeah. Right.
And you don't have the fading out from all the bright lights. And they are very strict on that. Yeah. Yeah. Which we love. I mean,
we love.
Absolutely.
Why not go to an RV resort that you can lay out and look at the stars? That's
right.
So we captured that.
Yeah. It really has come into its own. And to think back on your family history, this was a hard area to settle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
even my dad didn't have air conditioning when he was a kid. He said we would get up early in the morning and we would work in the fields, and then we would sleep in the middle of the day. And it wasn't just the kids. The grandparents, the parents, everybody would just go find a shady spot and lay down in the shade. And then they would go out and work again in the evening till dark. And then they would a lot of times pull their beds out and sleep on the porches because it was too hot to sleep inside. I just can't imagine that.
Oh, yeah, especially now. And another thing, this is just a personal perspective. As you come into the property, there's a feeling here. Have you heard that from other people that have come?
A lot.
Yeah.
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 I can't put my finger on it.
You can't really explain it. I mean, it's just, it has like this special feeling. There's no other way to really describe it. And, you know, we don't know where it comes from. We don't know why it's here, but we feel so lucky and so blessed to actually be a part of it. And we hope that, you know, when we're done here, that our kids will have it and their kids, and they'll continue to pass it down and utilize it. I mean, it's been in John's family for 7 generations. That's a long time. That's a lot of miracles to keep this property in the same family for that long, you know? So we just feel so lucky to have the opportunity to be here and share it with people now.
I think that, I have to say this without crying, I think the feeling that you feel is, oh goodness. I think the feeling that you feel is all of the ancestors that have worked this property so hard over the years.
Yeah.
And I think they're welcoming you here.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think it is.
I am so glad that you guys have had the opportunity to keep the property in your family, to carry on that tradition and that feeling. And you just got to come and experience it for yourself. Just the peace of listening to the fountain, hearing the water features at the pool, going down and hearing the trickle of the natural spring trickle down into the pond, and then getting out and exploring some of the best of God's creations
Absolutely.
on the whole earth. And so thank you so much, you guys, for taking the time to introduce us to Hidden Springs RV Resort and for sharing this piece of paradise with the rest of the world.
Thank you.
So it's been a real pleasure.
Yeah.
And so, folks, just come on down to southwestern Utah at the heart of the Big Five National Parks, plus the Grand Canyon, and a number of off the beaten path secrets that you'll find as you talk with John and Nicole or any of the staff here, and you won't regret it. And until then, hey, we'll see you on the road.
Thanks for tuning into another episode of RVCast. We hope you enjoyed hearing about our latest adventures on the road.
And don't forget, if you're itching to explore unique and interesting RV destinations, be sure to download the CurbNTurf app.
That's right, CurbNTurf, it's your go-to for finding those hidden gems off the beaten path. And hey, if you own property and you want to share your slice of paradise with fellow travelers, why not become a host yourself?
Absolutely. Just head over to CurbNTurf.com/start hosting to get started. Or reach out to us for more information.
Yeah, and you don't want to miss a future episode, so be sure to subscribe to RVCast so that you never miss a beat.
Until next time, happy trails and safe travels.
We'll see you on the road.